Okay, y'all, we are out here. I'm coming now live from the OKC BLM page. I want to let everyone know, if you are planning to come down, we have watched them put units all around the area. We also are watching what appears to be tactical teams get into position, possibly preparing to disperse pepper spray. So if it should happen, those of us that are able to continue to document, please share these posts. I'm going to turn the camera around in case they have put them up on top of the truck. We have seen other tactical units out here, while people are standing in their First Amendment right and are peacefully protesting the deplorable systems of the Oklahoma County Jail. We are demanding for change now. BLM OKC has been one of the organizations for over the last 5 years that has spoken about the deplorable systems and conditions within this building. It is time to shut it down. Another black man was lynched inside this building today. And it did not have to happen. Those in power were able to make decisions and to bring change within this building and within the carceral system. I want you to see that although our jails apparently do not have resources enough to provide meals that are not covered in mold, to not remove infestations of bed bugs and rodents and roaches, mites, to remove the black mold to where even the employees and the staff don't have to breathe in that waste, that toxic situation, that they have enough money to continually activate tactical teams to prepare to disperse pepper spray and gas on peaceful protesters. That is what the monies are allocated for. And they don't understand why we say no justice, no peace. They don't understand why we continue to raise our voices. There are organizations that come out here every few days, one, to let our family and friends know that are being held in this building, this albatross of inhumanity, that we have not forgotten them, that we will continue to advocate for them. Yes, Mr. Washington is out here. He has constantly been demanding and advocating for justice. Good trouble indeed, Mr. Wilson, good trouble indeed. Mind you, many of the people that are within this building have not been convicted of a crime. They are only bound to this building because of... Sorry, Barbara. I will stop moving the camera so fast. Yes, there was a death. One of the inmates that were standing in protest today about the inhumane treatment that they are having to exist in was killed. As I understand it, by one of the Oklahoma City Police Department's tactical team. We believe that the Sheriff's Division also went in. It was an African American male. We do not have, at this time, we do not have his name. I do not believe his family has been notified yet. There is some very disturbing and heartbreaking footage that is circulating that did capture his likeness. Cassie, I'm not sure how long we're going to be out here. We don't know when we're actually going to hold an official protest again, but many of us are going to continue to be out here every day. From my personal platform, and again, this was my personal platform. I am not saying this as part of the leadership team or lead organizer of BLM OKC, but I encourage all of those within the interfaith community that this should be the topic of their messages tomorrow, and that they should encourage to hold their services in front of this building and continue to demand justice. Nobody deserves to live in these inhumane conditions. We will continue to raise our voices. These walls need to come down. The prison industrial complex needs to come down. It must be abolished. The enslavement of black and brown and poor people, it must be abolished. We're going to keep making noise. But today we are standing in solidarity and sending our support and condolences and love to the family of another black man that was killed today within this facility. I bid you that there is certainly more than one way to take the life. The death penalty is issued within this facility and similar facilities all across this country. When they steal the livelihoods, when they hold innocent people. Marquita, I believe that they have, there were ambulances here earlier, so I believe that the person that was, whose life was taken within this building today, we do believe that that he has been moved. They did a press conference earlier to explain, and I say that there is no justification for the taking of life. There is no justification for the conditions within inside this facility. Let me tell you, there is absolutely no justification, no valid reason why a man had to lose his life today. They were literally standing in protest saying, look at the conditions. There is sewage floating. We cannot take showers. We don't want moldy food. We don't want spoiled milk. We just want to be treated with common decency and humanity due any human being. And once again, lethal force was utilized. It was said that he had a knife. Well, we know when you have a knife, especially within Oklahoma City, there doesn't seem to be any protocol for negotiation or discussion. Benny Edwards' life was taken, but you don't have to be armed to lose your life, especially when you are in black or brown skin. Here, within these systems or across the country, this is why we say Black Lives Matter. This is why voices must continue to be raised. And this is why our demand for justice must be a daily and consistent action. You cannot tire of demanding for the justice and humanity of people. Okay. It is a corrupt system. It is a system designed to destroy, to devastate, and to dehumanize anyone held within these systems. Oklahoma City and surrounding areas, we need to be having round-the-clock protests. Over the last couple of weekends, they have shut off the utilities within the facility, saying that they are repairing the grid. Dr. King said that a riot is the language of the unheard. And they are trying to silence the voices of those that are speaking out about these atrocities, about these crimes of inhumanity. There were many people out here earlier today, and some that are out here now, that said that when they were in there, one guy said he was in here 15 years ago, and the conditions were just as heinous. We are making noise to let those held within this building, many of, again, who I will say are innocent. They are only being held because of the cash bond system. So cash bond systems must be abolished. That they are only here because they cannot pay unreasonable bond set. That's right. How many more? Not one more. Not one more life should be stolen by state-sanctioned violence, by police brutality, all of which are upheld and enveloped in the systems of white supremacy. We must dismantle the system. It is inhumane. It is dehumanizing to have conditions within this facility and any facility. We know that the Oklahoma County Jail is not the only detention center that has inhumane conditions, but we know that we are one of the worst in the world. We know that Oklahoma is #1 in incarceration and has been #1 in incarceration of black women for over 25 years. They disproportionately incarcerate and enslave, because this is part of the systems of slavery. They make money by rendering free labor from incarcerated persons, and black and brown people are taken far from their families, from their communities, far too often. And we know that there are thousands and thousands of innocent people and unjustly convicted people sitting within inside these places of bondage, this system of slavery. I will not cast judgment on a person who stood up and said, I refuse to be treated worse than an animal any longer. And I am tired of these systems stealing lives, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically, literally, and doing these atrocities on stolen land. This land belongs to our indigenous communities. Thank you, Kristen. There are many that are taking shifts. That are demanding justice. And they continually send out more tactical officers and units. Are they going to literally decide to disperse pepper spray on people standing in their First Amendment right to protest? We know that many of the ridiculous white supremacist, racist, misogynist Republicans within the Oklahoma legislature said that, one, it was all right for people to literally take the lives of those that are protesting. Well, I say to you, waking up and existing in black skin every day, it is a protest. They want to charge us with racketeering and conspiracy for planning peaceful protests, for simply demanding justice and asking accountability for those that we elected. Transparency and collective power. They walk away from the systems of democracy and only hand out tyranny and dehumanization of the people of Oklahoma. Then they point and allude to a constitution that we know was not written to include black or brown people. It was not about us. And yes, to our white allies, we thank you. We need accomplices, but we say what you do for us, without us, you do to us. A black man. Life was taken within the Oklahoma County Jail today, simply because he was saying, "I do not want to be treated like less than human."
It's over with, Mama.
I think like if something happens,
Yeah, I'm getting back in the community on this one. Yeah, 35 minutes Saturday, last Saturday. Yeah. But that sucker right there, did I say that out loud?
We are changing. More and more people are coming, raising their voices. I have not done direct interviews with people because of the recent passing of laws where they are literally trying to criminalize activism, protesting, and organizing. So I am not openly identifying those. And we are not speaking when we say that the systems of law enforcement must be abolished. It is not on a personal level that we are saying that officers are bad people, but the system must fall. The system of law enforcement was created simply to continue to enslave black people. And it has been transformed into a multi-billion-dollar industry. And we are standing in solidarity with those inside this building, our sisters and our brothers, our families, our friends, our neighbors. Members of society. They request civil behavior while the systems of incivility and violence and hatred and harm are constantly thrust upon us. We are still making noise. I am going to, my battery is getting low. I've been out here for 4 or 5 hours. Standing vigil, holding space, and documenting what is happening. And so I am getting into my vehicle. will continue to document it is a racist system. It is a system activated and built simply because of and to uphold white supremacy. I don't think anyone is cheering the situation or harm coming to anyone, but this did not have to happen today. It should not have happened. There have been demands for change for decades. And within the last 3 or 4 years, we have been advocating every day. About 4 years ago, I believe, there was a death. Michael Jimerson, or Davy Jimerson, who died simply because he did not receive his asthma medication. His mother went down to the jail around about 11 p.m. trying to take his nebulizer and his inhaler. They informed her that they could not take medication from a civilian, assured her that he was getting medical care. And within 2 or 3 hours, a member of the Oklahoma County Sheriff Department was on her door informing her that her son had died from an asthma attack from lack of care provided while he was incarcerated. And I believe he was only 20 or 21. I can't tell you how many times we see people or hear of people perishing within this building. There were so many deaths last year, it was hard to... We got confused because they were happening almost daily. These are not rehabilitative systems. And that's not why these systems are designed. They are designed to enslave. Oklahoma's #1 in privatized prisons. Many of those in power and some of our top elected officials are the largest stakeholders or developers within establishing private prisons. Jail systems and the carceral system is a multi-billion-dollar, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't a trillion-dollar industry. The enslavement of people, the dehumanization, and people perish, they die, and experience lifelong trauma from being held within these types of systems. There is no justice. Oklahoma also supports and implements the death penalty, and the death penalty needs to be abolished. We are constantly advocating for our brother Julius Jones and for all those that sit on death row. That is not justice. That is state-sanctioned murder. Studies have shown that it doesn't decrease criminal actions by having the death penalty, by incarcerating people, by removing family members that are the main supporters of those families. But this is how the system is designed, to disable and to add to the dysfunction of families of color. The disparities of black and brown people within the carceral system within Oklahoma, they are some of the highest in the world. So many have perished within this system. And I'm getting text. I am very well aware that there are federal agents and officers out here. They're always out here when we are standing out here. I know that they surveil my phones. So I want you to know to do not expect or assume that there is privacy or that our conversations are not being monitored by Big Brother, who I refer to as Edgar. But this loss of life, this stealing of life was just as atrocious and unnecessary and criminal and diabolical as any that we have seen. Oklahoma City and the state of Oklahoma has had more officer-involved fatalities than almost any other city or state collectively. In November, there were 4 in 1 week, 2 in December. I don't know how many deaths we've had within the Oklahoma County Jail, but today there was another, and his life was taken by law enforcement officers as they were standing in protest and rioting against the inhumane conditions within this building. How are you supposed to advocate and speak out? How are you supposed to say, and why do they have to say that I am a man? I am a woman. I deserve simple humanity. And when they talk about training, how can you train, and why do you have to train simple humanity towards those that exist in the same realm as you? There is no civility in these systems. Again, many of these people who are held within this building have not been convicted of a crime. Therefore, they are still considered innocent. And many are. They just cannot pay the outlandish and unreasonable bail set by the judges. Over the summer, we saw bail set as high as $1 million per person for those that were participating in protest. And they were charged with terrorism. The system of white supremacy is full of terrorists. Many that serve within the judicial systems are terrorists. There are racist white supremacists that serve in law enforcement. And there are those that also serve in social services, so they are abroad. I'm going to go ahead and shut this live down now. I will come back and update you all later, but we're going to continue to raise our voices in protest. Stand in solidarity with those incarcerated persons within this building, and we're going to continue to uplift the message and the fact that Black Lives Matter. Ashe.